Days of Our Lives, spoilers for Wednesday, August 27th, reveal that Sarah Horton Kyriakis will play mom to Rachel Black, while Sophia Choi pushes Holly Jonas over the edge. First, on Wednesday's duel episode, Brady Black and Tate Black will try to console Rachel, who'll still be a mess over Kristen DeMera's surprise confession. Tate and Brady won't be able to truly lift Rachel's spirits, but she'll find solace in Sarah's arms later. Day's spoilers say Rachel will go running into Sarah's embrace, so Sarah will fill a mother figure role while Kristen is locked up. That's fitting considering Sarah raised Rachel for the first year of her life. Rachel doesn't know about the buried baby swap yet, but that news could come out sooner or later. Whatever the case, it looks like Sarah may babysit Rachel for a while and try to cheer her up. That'll give Brady a chance to seek Steve Johnson's help with a new investigation. Day's spoilers say Brady will give Steve updates on his concerns about Sophia, who slipped up on the baby's gender recently and keeps acting suspicious when it comes to the adoption. Steve will agree to help Brady dig for the whole story since it's obvious Sophia hasn't given it. Duel fans know Tesoro is Sophia and Tate's baby boy, so we'll see how close Steve can get to that shocker. Day's spoilers say Steve and Kayla Johnson will chat with Sophia at the pub, where she now works. Plus, Kayla will take a moment to give Stephanie Johnson some advice, so that may tie in with Xander Kyriakis' PR drama or her daughter's relationship with Alex Kyriakis instead. Speaking of Alex, he'll find a reason to give Sarah an apology in Wednesday's show. Alex will also share some lovey-dovey moments with Stephanie, while Tate and Holly do the same across town. Unfortunately, Days of Our Lives spoilers say Holly and Tate's romantic bubble will burst a bit when they run into Sophia during her pub shift. Once Holly senses that Sophia is trying to make a romantic play for Tate, she'll plant a jealous kiss on her boyfriend and let Sophia know he's off limits. After getting Isa information from Paul over the phone, Steve says to himself, "Philip, you are a bad, bad boy." He texts Stephanie to come to his office. However, she's with Xander to discuss her PR strategy in case Philip's fraud is made public. She'll obviously try to prevent that from happening, but suggests Xander draw up legal papers officially naming Philip as co-CEO. Xander obviously hates that idea, but Stephanie thinks it'll help bolster Xander's defense of the takeover. Plus, if the truth does come out, and Xander's done nothing to secure Philip's position in the company, Philip could retaliate by going to the police about the brutal beating Xander gave him. Then, Xander would lose everything. After Stephanie's left, Alex waltzes into Xander's office to get an earful about her plan. Alex thinks it's a solid strategy, but Xander calls hiring her a waste of time and money. Alex vehemently defends his girlfriend and suggests that his cousin go to those anger management sessions with Marlena. As Xander strolls with Victoria outside the pub, he cryptically tells his daughter that, despite what everyone else thinks, Philip's cheating and swindling should not be rewarded with kindness. He gets a message from Marlena confirming his appointment for tomorrow. Stephanie comes to her papa's office and learns Steve discovered Philip's fraud. He also knows she knows and wants to know more of what she knows. After Stephanie fills him in, she urges Steve to keep this quiet. He agrees to let it go because he'll choose her over a client every time. However, he warns that a secret like this won't stay under wraps forever. Philip wakes up to Gabby in his Salem Inn bed. They rehash how their lunch turned into dinner, which turned into a nightcap, which turned into, well... After putting his foot in his mouth a couple of times, she suggests he put his mouth to better use and passionately kisses him. As Gabby gets dressed, she marvels over them connecting like this and seductively kisses him again. As she heads out, she opens the door to a surprised Belle. Gabby scurries off and Philip gets dressed. He's prepared to explain himself, but Belle doesn't need details on his sex life. She's there to warn him that someone is snooping into the Titan-DeMera merger, but she can't tell him who, which leads Philip to throw a brief tantrum. When he calms down, Belle grows emotional. She feels untethered with no distraction from her breakup and John's death. Philip promises her it will get better, and that he'll help her get through it. She tightly embraces him. Belle plans to go home and hide under her covers, but Philip suggests they play hooky together. They head out for a horseback ride just like they did when they cut class in high school. Gabby slinks into the Hernandez house to a worried Ari, who demands to know why she didn't come home last night or answer her frantic texts. However, her outrage turns to mortification when she realizes her mother was out having sex. After they awkwardly clear that up, Ari tells her mother she's staying in Salem for school, which thrills Gabby. Ari calls her supportive dads to break the news, and then tells her disappointed mother she'll be moving into the dorms. Ari quips that at least now Gabby won't have to sneak into the house when she sleeps with a rondo. Stephanie finds Alex working at her place and tells him the person looking into the Titan Demera deal agreed to drop it. She can't give him details, but assures him it's all over. At the same time, Steve returns Gabby's retainer and urges her to leave well enough alone. But since this is Gabby we're talking about, after Steve leaves, she says, "Like hell I will." Perusing books displayed in the square, Paulina becomes engrossed in one stormy night. Abe interrupts, and she notes she hasn't been this sweaty since Chanel dragged her to hot yoga. She puts the book down and heads off to meet with Jada about bolstering the PD's AI detection skills and to rehash Kristen's confession. When Paulina returns to Abe in the square, he gets a call from Theo, who's still upset over his breakup with Claire. When Abe hangs up, he gifts her with a copy of One Stormy Night. She cheekily suggests they read it together in bed. Meanwhile, Jada finds Ari reading the same book at the pub. Ari gushes over the writing and takes an interest in the author. Back in June, various favorites return to Salem to say goodbye to Days of Our Lives, John. And though Sierra was one of them, her husband Ben wasn't by her side. Soaps.com caught up with Robert Scott Wilson, who touched base on whether or not there were plans to bring Ben back into the mix and if he'd be game to play dual roles. So, was there talk of Ben making an appearance since leaving Salem in 2022? There was nothing, Wilson shared with our reporter, Kristen. It was kind of like Ben was doing his thing and she came back just for that period of time to bring the family together during such a difficult time. He was at home in their bed. While we didn't get to see Ben this time around, we'd love to see him meet Alex. And so would Wilson, who stated, "I would love for that to happen in terms of Ben truly meeting Alex. I think it would just be really great to have that moment more than anything, and who knows? It could be really funny. Who knows? But I think there could be something there." Actors playing dual roles on soaps is not unheard of. Look at Wally Kurth, for example. He's played Justin on Days of Our Lives as well as Ned on General Hospital for years. And when it comes to playing a dual role on the same soap, Thao Penglis, Andre and Tony had a face-off years ago, so, I think the opportunity to just play two roles at the same time would be great, Wilson added. Except for my sleep schedule would be a mess. I would not do well. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Tuesday, August 26th reveal that Jada Hunter will get an awkward surprise while Belle Black sounds the alarm. Paulina Price will also get unexpected news, so there'll be a lot happening in Salem. At the police station, Jada will have a meeting with Paulina, who may express concern over Kristen Demera's confession and how Johnny Demera's trial was handled. The whole thing turned into quite the circus act, so Paulina won't be pleased. Meanwhile, Days spoilers say Stephanie Johnson will have a meeting of her own with Xander Kyriakis, so they'll have an important discussion about PR strategies. Back with Paulina, she'll get some intriguing updates from Abe Carver as he announces a new job. Abe's latest gig will catch Paulina off guard, but she should be happy he's found a fresh project to throw himself into. As for Gabby Hernandez, she's set to wake up in bed with Philip Kyriakis soon. Since Gabby convinced Philip to head to the bistro with her, Duel fans may see the morning after on Tuesday's Days episode. Ariana, Ari Horton, will end up putting Gabby through a grilling session, so she may wonder why her mom was out all night. Gabby will answer Ari's questions as well as some from Javi Hernandez, who'll want the full scoop on Gabby's interactions with the Kyriakis brothers lately. As for Belle, Days spoilers say she'll give Philip a warning. If Belle realizes Philip's getting too close to Gabby, she may sound the alarm and fear he's headed down a bad road. Gabby isn't the most trustworthy person around town, so Belle will want Philip to be careful. Philip may insist he'd rather spend his free time with Belle anyway, since the two of them will play hooky at some point this week. Until then, we should talk about some awkwardness that's brewing for Jada and Alex Kyriakis. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Jada and Alex may wind up a little embarrassed by the whole thing, so stay tuned. Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal that an uproar between fans has emerged about the fate of Kristen DiMera. Does this mean that Kristen is leaving Salem? This is not necessarily what is to come. Kristen confessed to shooting E.J. DiMera. This was Kristen's brilliant idea to keep Rachel Black from realizing that she is the one who shot her uncle. Rachel remembered seeing Johnny DiMera with a gun. However, Rachel later picked up that gun and threatened EJ with it before the gun went off and shot him. However, Kristen has been in prison before, and she was still on screen quiet often. There is no reason that Kristen should leave the show just because of prison. Of course, according to Parade, Stacey Hayduke has no intention of going anywhere. With that, we can probably assume that Kristen will still be seen, but she may not be in prison for very long either. Kristen may have a little stint in prison, but according to upcoming spoilers, she won't be gone very long. Days of Our Lives' 60th anniversary celebration will be held in November, and Kristen will play an important role in the upcoming storyline. Could this story have anything to do with Stefano DiMera resurrection? Rachel has been blocking out the whole shooting scene, and everyone is worried that she will blame herself for Kristen's fate. It certainly could be that Rachel will get her memory back and confess to what happened that night at the mansion. Will Rachel be the one who frees her mother by remembering the truth? For once in her life, Kristen is being selfless. If it wasn't for Rachel's fragile mental state, Kristen would never make this sacrifice. However, EJ remembered that Rachel was who shot him, and he is threatening to expose the truth unless Kristen came up with something believable. So to save her daughter from more issues, Kristen confessed, Kristen is going to need to be around when Rachel does get her memory back. Is Rachel going to be able to handle the fact that she shot EJ? What does this mean for the threats from social services? After all, Rachel has gone to the major extreme and shot someone. Can Brady or Kristen manage to keep custody of their daughter after this latest revelation? Days of Our Lives spoilers for Tuesday, August 26th suggest some bombshells that are about to drop in the land of Salem. Someone has a warning for a friend, while another is drilling questions. Looking for answers. Plus, a character has major news. What's set to go down on Monday? Time to find out. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Tuesday, August 26th hint that Belle Black will have a warning for Philip Kyriakis. However, it's unclear if Philip will listen to his longtime friend and ex or fluff her off. Meanwhile, the other co-CEO of Titan DiMera, Xander Kyriakis, will have his hands full at work, while he discusses PR strategy with Stephanie Johnson. In related news, it appears that things will get awkward between Jada Hunter and Stephanie's boyfriend, Alex Kyriakis. What's this about? Fans will have to tune in to find out. Across town, Gabby Hernandez will be placed on the spot when her daughter Ariana Ari Horton will come to her, looking for answers. What could this be about? Gabby has been trying to get intel to overthrow Titan, to help score back DiMera as a single entity, so she's been getting closer to both Xander and Philip. Is this what Ari will question her on? Days of Our Lives spoilers for Tuesday reveal that Abe Carver will have big news to share with his wife, Paulina Price. With that said, is this good big news or bad big news? The family has been through a lot as of late, as Paulina has had to worry about her daughter, Chanel DiMera, and Chanel's husband, Johnny DiMera. As such, here's hoping that Abe's big news is something fun and not concerning. What are you looking forward to most during Tuesday's show? Comment below. Watch your favorite Peacock soap daily, and check out SOS often for the best Days of Our Lives, spoilers, news, and updates. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Wednesday, August 27th prove that Brady knows Kristen isn't totally honest with him. He turns to Steve for help figuring out his baby mama's latest lie. Kristen convinced EJ and Marlena to keep quiet, that they'd figured out Rachel was the one who shot him, and then blocked out the memory. So Kristen took the blame, which made Brady furious. How could she do this to Johnny? How could she do this to Rachel? Kristen spun the lie she'd prepared, but Brady has been on the receiving end of Kristen's nonsense many times before. He told her right off the bat that her story doesn't make sense, but Kristen kept lying. We know we're supposed to think she's just doing it for her beloved Rachel, But considering that lying is Kristen's preferred lifestyle choice, it's hard to feel too sorry for her. So while Kristen plays martyr, Brady plays detective, or rather, he turns to a real detective, his late dad's partner, Steve, for help with getting to the truth, which we strongly suspect he won't like once he finds it. Tate gave up his quest to meet his daughter once he saw how much it upset Sophia. So now he can focus all his attention on Holly. But, for reasons we still have a hard time understanding, Sophia has decided she wants Tate for herself. So she looks for opportunities to run into the lovebirds, and to put a crimp in their lovey-dovey lifestyle. Stephanie and Alex have some errands to run. She needs advice from Kayla, and he has an apology for Sarah. Everybody's got to be somewhere, we guess. On the August 26th episode of Days of Our Lives, Steve let Stephanie talk him into returning Gabby's retainer and not telling her what he'd found out about Philip's con and why Xander is going along with it. Did he just manage to piss off both sides of this conflict, which will only come back to harm him? Stephanie complimented her papa on his impressive detective work when he explained how he got Andrew to figure out that Victor's codicil naming Philip as his heir was a fake. Stephanie asked Steve to keep quiet, for her sake, and Alex's, and Xander's, also Philip's. Stephanie pointed out her dad didn't really care if the Dimeras got their company back, did he? Steve admitted he didn't. Then he hightailed it over to Gabby's to return her check. But now Steve has made enemies of basically everybody. Gabby is unhappy with Steve, but more importantly, Tony will be unhappy with Steve, and EJ will be unhappy with Steve, and Kristen will be unhappy with Steve. Now Steve is a smart guy. He can take care of himself, but why should he have to? Yes, he loves his sweetness, Stephanie, but she has very little skin in this game, so why take the risk of having to fend off the Dimeras? Steve is doing this for Stephanie, and she's also doing it for Alex, Xander, and Philip. But will they be grateful? Or will they see Steve as a threat they need to get rid of? Stephanie thought she was asking Papa to do something nice for her boyfriend and his family, but, as we learned from Wicked, no good deed goes unpunished. What if the Kyriakis clan decides that the only quiet Steve is a dead Steve? The question of who gunned down EJ Dimera has haunted Salem for months, and the shocking reveal stunned fans. His own niece, Rachel Black, pulled the trigger. For New Days of Our Lives, head writers Paula Quickly and Jean Marie Ford making Rachel the culprit wasn't just about surprise. It was about creating ripple effects that could shake the canvas for months. The two recently opened up about how this latest twist came about. Speaking with Soap Opera Digest, Quickly and Ford revealed that when they started, they didn't make any major changes except for who the perpetrator was. Although pretty much everyone in Salem could have been the shooter, the writers felt they needed the reveal to have an impact. We ultimately settled on Rachel because we felt the fallout would have the most impact across multiple characters on the canvas, they stated. For the writers, placing a child at the center of such a storyline added layers of drama. Acknowledging that Brady and Kristen's parenting skills leave much to be desired, the writers explained that the two have made a habit of insulating Rachel from the fallout of her poor choices. Thus, while thinking they were helping Rachel, the lack of natural consequences created a ticking time bomb that seemed bound to explode at some point. The reveal through EJ's recovered memory gives him leverage over Kristen, but it also forces him into murky territory. The writers explained that while EJ certainly loves his niece, his main priority is to help Johnny and mend their broken relationship. And the knowledge of the shooter is useful to him because holding it over Kristen's head is far more useful to him right now. Meanwhile, the whole predicament has devastated the girl's mom. Kristen is mired in guilt over Rachel's situation, but feels there's plenty of blame to go around, Quickly and Ford admitted. They noted that the anger and desperation Kristen feels from the sticky situation will help her shed her hostilities and vendettas, although new ones may be just around the corner. The writers also teased that it's only a matter of time before the secret becomes public. Days of Our Lives spoilers photos. For the August 27th, 2025, tease a new job and a potential new mother figure. Steve may make a breakthrough in his Titan Dimera case, while Sophia starts her new job and Rachel finds comfort in familiar arms. Can Brady help Steve crack the case against the Kyriakises? When Steve and Kayla meet for lunch, they'll be served by a familiar face. After some alone time, Tate and Holly will run into Sophia, leaving her new job at the pub. Rachel is consoled by both her dad and brother, but it's Sarah who does the trick. Book release day nears for Stephanie and Alex. Here are your Days of Our Lives photo spoilers for Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. It's Rachel's first day without her mom, and she remains absolutely devastated. She was so relieved to learn that her testimony didn't send Johnny to jail, but now her mother is behind bars instead. Rachel is positive that Kristen did not shoot Uncle EJ, but her mother confessed, so she had to be arrested. Tate and Brady try their best to cheer Rachel up, but to no avail. She remains sad and angry, wondering if she will ever see Kristen again. Brady also has to focus on Tate and his theory that something isn't quite right about Sophia's story of giving birth in a Chicago hospital before quickly handing her baby over to adoptive parents. To that end, he asks Steve to do a little investigating to see if he can get to the bottom of things. Tate wants to just focus on Holly, but when they get to the Brady pub, they find Sophia is working there. Later, Sophia waits for Kayla and Steve. Will Steve tell Kayla that he is investigating Sophia for Brady to get to the bottom of what really happened to her baby? Rachel needs all the support she can get, so Brady and Tate try to give her that. It doesn't appear to make her feel any better. Rachel needs a mother's touch and has become extremely attached to Sarah, who was her first mother. Brady wants to get to the bottom of what really happened to Sophia's baby. Holly and Tate will be surprised when they see that Sophia is conveniently working at the Brady pub. Will Kayla and Steve notice that Sophia is acting nervous, which is her default state at the moment? Everything seems to be going right for Stephanie and Alex. How long can it last? Here are your Days of Our Lives spoilers for Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. Sophia and Melinda did not think their plan out very well. First, Sarah was easily able to deduce that Sophia was lying about her birth story because the ultrasound revealed that Sophia was having a boy. Sophia is also not very good at lying and has slipped up several times. Her latest slip-up, referring to her baby as a him, has Brady quite suspicious. When Sarah brought up HIPAA laws, Brady knew she was hiding something. To that end, he visits Steve and tells him his suspicions about his grandchild. He knows Sophia is not telling the whole truth, so Brady is ready to hire Black Patch to do some digging. Does he already suspect that the baby is right there in Salem, living in the Hernandez house? Steve and Brady get to work as they try to get to the bottom of things. Will they start by checking Chicago hospitals for Sophia's name as a patient? That should be the first thing Brady and Tate had asked. What hospital did Sophia give birth in? Sophia is just trying to move on with her life, with the singular goal of landing Tate. So, she hasn't come very far over the last year and is still using manipulation tactics after giving away their child. Now, she works at the Brady pub just so she can spend more time with Tate. When Holly and Tate meet up at the pub and realize Sophia is working there, Holly tries to cover her anger. She has been a very understanding girlfriend through all of this, but Sophia keeps invading her life. Holly warns Sophia to stay away from Tate, but Sophia is not about to listen. She claims innocence, but Sophia always seems to have an ulterior motive. Perhaps she should be more concerned with what Steve and Brady are up to in the Black Patch office. She knows that Tate will never forgive her if he learns the truth. Welcome to the Days of Our Lives Daily YAPP for a quick, and by that, I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. It's 2025, Days of Our Lives, and while something can be said for words on a page and not on a screen, it's very rare to see people reading actual books these days, especially teenagers. We get that Days wants to show Stephanie's book cover with her 50 Shades of Grey pen name as much as possible, but it made very little sense for Ari to be reading a pretty racy novel in the Brady pub in actual book form. It made even less sense for Jada to discuss the sex scenes in the novel with her former fiancé's niece, who just graduated from high school a few short months ago. Can someone say awkward? We were probably more embarrassed than Jada and Ari were as we watched this cringeworthy scene. Days needs to stop knocking us over the head with the fact that Little Sweetness aka Stephanie Johnson, has a dirty mind. We get it. Steve and Kayla's precious daughter has enjoyed her sexual escapades throughout her adult life and decided to write all about them. Stephanie is not everything she seems to be on the surface. We know. There's no more need to keep reminding us of this info, but there is a need to buy the citizens of Salem some e-readers so everyone knows what they are digging into over lunch at the town pub. Want more details? We got you! Soap Central has the best full duel recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not, seriously, do not forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the as close as we can come to being a watching party without actually being a show. And the best part is, if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. Here's your Days of Our Lives recap for Tuesday, August 26th, 2025. When Stephanie's advice upset Xander, Steve learned the truth about Philip, and Philip woke up in bed with Gabby. In the square, Paulina read a passage in One Stormy Night at a pop-up book sale. "You seem to be enjoying that book," Abe noted. Paulina chuckled nervously, and she admitted the book was steamy. Abe suggested they grab breakfast, but Paulina noted that she needed to meet up with Jada first. Stephanie met with Xander at Titan to discuss plans to deal with any fallout from the public learning about Philip's fraud. Stephanie explained that she would work to keep Philip's secret under wraps, but that they needed to address the root problem. As Philip was not legally co-CEO at the time of the merger, Stephanie argued that Xander needed to formally name Philip as co-CEO in a legal agreement to undercut the argument against the legality of the takeover. "Something that makes Victor's wishes immaterial," Stephanie said. Xander asked Stephanie if she was suggesting that he should reward Philip's fraud with the same legal claim to the company as him. "This is exactly what I figured you wouldn't like," Stephanie muttered. Xander noted that even if he made Philip a legitimate heir, it did not prevent the court from unraveling the takeover. "I realize that, but like I said, maybe it would help bolster your defense of the takeover," Stephanie advised. Stephanie argued that it would help the shareholders stay calm if they believed there was no unrest with the executives. "It doesn't guarantee that the deal won't still get nullified somehow. And in that case, I would lose half of everything. It's just not worth the risk," Xander argued. Stephanie told Xander that if he did have a part in Philip's beating, Philip would have nothing to lose if he did not have half the company to fall back on. "In which case, Xander, you'd end up losing everything," Stephanie said. When Alex arrived, Stephanie was gone. Xander told Alex about his meeting with Stephanie. "I think it sounds like it might be worth a shot," Alex said. When Xander argued that it had been a waste of time to hire Stephanie, Alex reminded him that he had forced Alex to convince Stephanie to take the job. Alex warned Xander not to insult Stephanie anymore. At Black Patch, Steve thanked Paul on the phone for his help. After Steven ended the call, he smirked. "Philip, you are a bad, bad boy," Steve said. Steve texted Stephanie, and he asked her to meet him at his office. When Stephanie arrived, Steve told her that he knew that Philip had no legitimate claim to his inheritance or his job. "But you already knew that, didn't you?" Steve asked. Stephanie said yes. Steve explained that he had reviewed the documents from the court case and he had asked Paul to examine Victor's letter. The ink used had been produced after Victor's death. "Impressive detective work," Stephanie said. Stephanie filled in the blanks for Steve with all she knew. "I'm surprised the truth hasn't come out already," Steve said. "That's because there's a lot on the line," Stephanie said. Stephanie explained that the truth could unravel the takeover. "And that's why Xander kept a lid on it," Steve said. Stephanie said yes, and she asked Steve to keep quiet too. When Steve groaned, Stephanie asked if he cared whether the Dimira family retook their company. "No, I don't," Steve admitted. "Then maybe just let this one go," Stephanie countered. Stephanie asked Steve to keep the secret as a favor to her. Reluctantly, Steve agreed. "If it's a choice between some client and my daughter, I choose you every time," Steve said. Steve added that in his experience, secrets did not stay buried. You might want to prepare your boyfriend for the inevitable, Steve suggested. When Stephanie returned home, Alex was working in her living room. I guess we just missed each other at the office today, Alex said. Stephanie noted that Xander did not like her plan, but Alex told Stephanie that he believed Xander would realize it was good advice. As it turns out, I don't think he has to worry about people finding out about Philip, Stephanie said. Stephanie explained that she had discovered who had been investigating Titan, and they had agreed to drop their investigation. Alex peppered Stephanie with questions. Stephanie told Alex that she could not talk about it. Stephanie asked Alex to trust her. Philip woke up in bed next to Gabby at the Salem Inn. When I agreed to lunch yesterday, I didn't think it would turn into dinner, Philip said. Which then turned into a nightcap, Gabby whispered. After Gabby and Philip had sex, Philip suggested that they get together again. I'd like that, Gabby said. It was a few mere years ago that you and I almost slept together. Do you remember? Gabby asked. Philip nodded yes, and he noted that it would have been a mistake since Gabby had been in love with Jake. Gabby confessed that she had felt a real connection with Philip this time. Gabby kissed Philip goodbye, and as she opened the door to leave, she saw Belle. Gabby smiled and walked out. After Philip dressed, Belle told him she had a warning for him. Belle told Philip that she knew someone was getting close to uncovering Philip's secret. Belle urged Philip to come clean publicly. Philip demanded to know who was investigating him so that he could shut them up. Belle refused. Philip threw a brief tantrum, then apologized. Philip asked Belle if she was okay. Belle admitted that she missed and loved EJ, even though he did not deserve her. You're not thinking about getting back together? Philip asked. Belle said no. Belle explained that now that the trial was over, she did not have a distraction from her grief over her breakup or John's death. You are a strong and resilient person with so much to offer, Philip said. Philip promised that Belle would feel better in time and that he would be there to support her. Philip suggested they play hooky from work together. Paulina met up with Jada at the police station. When Paulina complained about the possibility that EJ had doctored the video of Chanel, Jada agreed that she had shared the same concern. Which is why I obtained warrants to check all the personal bank accounts of every individual who was given that footage, Jada said. Jada confirmed that there was nothing unusual, and her forensics team argued their report had been an honest mistake, based on the limits of technical knowledge in their department. Paulina vowed to better fund the department's efforts to keep up with AI technology. Paulina asked about Kristen's sentencing, but Jada said there was no news yet. With a shake of her head, Jada said she was surprised that Kristen had almost let her nephew take the fall for her. That's just how the DeMeras are, Paulina muttered. When Paulina rejoined Abe in the square, Abe took a call from Theo. After the call, Abe and Paulina agreed that they wished Theo was not so far away. Paulina suggested that she and Abe plan visits to all their children. If I learned one thing from John's passing, time is precious, Abe said. And we should make it a point to spend as much time with our family as we possibly can, Paulina agreed. Paulina changed the subject to Abe's book purchases, and he presented her with a copy of One Stormy Night. With a chuckle, Abe noted he would have to borrow the book. Paulina suggested they read the book together. Gabby crept into her house as she returned home from her night out with Philip. Mom, where have you been? Ari demanded as she walked into the kitchen. Ari told Gabby she had been worried when Gabby had not returned home, nor answered any calls or texts. I'm so sorry, sweetie. My phone died, Gabby said. Ari demanded to know why Gabby had stayed out all night, then gasped. Oh my God! Did you have sex last night? Ari asked. Gabby argued that she had every right to have a love life. I didn't realize that you were seeing someone, Ari said. Gabby admitted it had been a spur-of-the-moment thing. After some bickering, Gabby noted that Ari's dads would have their hands full when she returned to Arizona. Ari told Gabby about her plans to go to Salem U. Elated, Gabby hugged Ari. Ari called her dads and told them about her decision. While on a walk, Xander pushed Victoria's stroller past the Brady pub. Everyone thinks that I should be nicer to your Uncle Philip, but I don't think that cheating, lying, swindling should be rewarded with kindness, Xander said. Marlena texted Xander to confirm his appointment for anger management therapy. Xander looked at Victoria and he whispered, "If I don't want to lose custody, I guess I don't have a choice." Inside the pub, Ari was reading One Stormy Night at a table when Jada said hello. Ari noted that she had attempted to look up the author, but she had not found any information. "To my understanding, that's her first novel," Jada said. Gabby was working on her computer in her kitchen when Steve stopped by the house. "Did you find dirt on Xander and Philip?" Gabby asked. Steve returned Gabby's retainer. "I've decided I can't work on this case any longer," Steve said. When Gabby asked why, Steve said he could not explain.